Hey guys, what's going on? And I did a test the other day, and I did that short video that went up in the dark. I was talking about pro wrestling, and well, it worked. It got on YouTube. I haven't really checked the views to see if anybody watched it really, but the wrestling stuff is kind of something that kind of just goes. So today I'm going to talk about is Vince McMahon announced that he was going to introduce a new brand. WCW was coming back, and they were going to bring WCW back. And nostalgia is amazing, and lately there's been a lot of it going on. Hardy Boys coming back, Headbangers were brought back to SmackDown before that, a few months prior. Um, they were there for a little bit. Ow. I think I injured my elbow. I saw lights. I thought my wife came back. Anyways, but yeah, nostalgia is pretty wild. So Vince McMahon comes to me and he says he's got WCW, and you're gonna get to choose a few people to bring to your roster, and then NXT is gonna get somewhat rated, okay? And this is going to be probably after WrestleMania. The announcement is made like a month later. Well, I don't even remember what was it, Payback, the first pay per view this year. So that wasn't too bad. So after Payback happens, the night after Payback, Vince McMahon comes down and he announces that we've got too much talent in WWE and not enough spaces for championships on the two, we got 205 line, the two brands that we have. So they announced that they're bringing back WCW to be the third brand. Raw and SmackDown being, 1 and 2 as well. So WCW being number 3. And he says you get to pick a certain amount of people that you choose. You get to choose 5 major stars from Raw and SmackDown. And then after that, it's kind of going to be fill in the blanks. So the first thing I would do is I want to find a woman who can wrestle, but we kind of fit the mold for a WCW. So this is how I would book it. This is how I'd book it and how I would book crowning the champions. First and foremost, I would, if everything was left right and there was no call-ups, because one would assume Authors of Pain will be on the main roster before WrestleMania. That might happen, or they might debut at WrestleMania. Authors of Pain might be in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, maybe. Who knows? Or they might somehow debut at WrestleMania, or at the Royal Rumble. That might happen, actually. That would actually make more sense. To debut at the Royal Rumble as number, like 2 and 3 or something, and just run down the roster for a while until somebody big comes in like Braun Strowman and knocks them both out. But anyways, saying that happens, WCW full on women's championship. Who I would bring into, I would definitely bring in Peyton Royce and Billie Kay into WCW. That would be two of the first women I would do. The major star of the women I would directly bring in to WCW, I think, would be a girl like Becky Lynch. She's had her run on SmackDown and Raw, and I think that as a whole, people enjoy her. But I think they so want Charlotte and Paige when she comes back. I'm assuming she's gonna. I don't know how long she's gonna stay though. That's the thing. Paige would be a good coup actually for WCW as well, but I think she's a little bit more crazier, where she would fit more on Raw, and some other people should be shuffled around anyway. But that's what I would do. I would put Becky Lynch, and I would get Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, put them on WCW. Those would be my 3 women I would start with, and kind of start a program with them. They would be the only 3 there. Maybe there'd be like a couple of people from the Mae Young Classic might fill in there. I'm trying to think of WCW people. Maybe Jazz or Jazzy. What's her name? Jazzy? I think her name was Jazz, something Jazzy. I would put maybe her in WCW, and I would also pick because you got to think about WCW was always kind of like more traditional wrestling. So if Raw is your heavy hitters, where a lot of major storylines were going on, and SmackDown's more of the wrestling brand, the WCW would kind of be more of a traditional kind of wrestling that would focus on the basics of pro wrestling, basically, and the telling of a story and having long programs and really just doing a lot with building people up in WCW. But also there would be this, glob at the top that people would always, want to be there. So yeah, that's what I would do. I don't know who the last person, like, you would probably want 5 women at least in WCW to do programs with. But I mean, I would probably start with 4. Put Jazzy in there. I don't remember what her name was. Maybe Lath, but I would assume she might go. But maybe she could start in WCW. Was it Amy Lath? Amanda Lath? Whatever her name is. Maybe put her in there because she's kind of a bigger, kind of a hoss of a girl a little bit. But she would, it would work for WCW, I think. Which that doesn't take away from anything of her ability. She's really good. It just surprised me how muscular she was. But anyways, so that's my women's division. Tag team division, definitely. The Authors of Pain's getting called up. I'm gonna go whoa whoa whoa. I know you guys just got the Authors of Pain, but I'll take the Authors of Pain in WCW. I'll put them in WCW. I would take the Ascension, and I would take the Club. Bring them on. 3 tag teams. I'll start with those. Heavy Machinery. Probably call them up. Send them to WCW. They're WCW guys all the way because they remind me of High Voltage. I would put them. There you go. WCW all the way. The mid card. What would I do with the mid card? Who would I pull? And like I said about 5, so that's about right. It'll be about right because you're going to pull from other people, and plus you're going to start really small because they're probably only going to give me like a 2-hour program on the network, and it may only be like an hour to start, maybe to crown a new champion or something like that. But this is what I would do. What I would do is basically tell Vince, hey, I don't want all these guys, but I want kind of a wheelhouse of your mid-card to show up on WCW, and I'm going to pick and choose who I want to be in the company, okay? So when the tournament happens on WCW, the first hour I would do... See, this is what I would do. I would do like 1 women's match, and I would only put like Peyton Royce and Becky Lynch in a singles match the first night that we would have the program. We wouldn't crown a women's champion the first night. This wouldn't happen. And there would probably be a special where I would crown, or maybe the second episode, that it would actually be a couple hours long. But this would be an hour long. It would be more focused on crowning a world heavyweight champion. There would be 8 matches. It might have to be 2 hours, actually. But it'd be more focused on the men. And there would even be a tag match. I'd probably have the Club take on, the Ascension, and it'd be a good match, but whatever. But I would bring, guys like Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel over to WCW. They're not doing anything with them. I would bring R-Truth over. I would bring Dustin Rhodes over. He's there. He could do stuff. He could put over guys. And actually, Dustin Rhodes would probably be a main eventer in WCW because he's been the main eventer, or he should have been a main eventer in WCW and never was. It didn't make no sense. They had him so high up there, but they didn't want to push him any further. Because I think eventually when he was getting to that point, Hogan had showed up, or Macho Man had showed up, and Flair was there, had just come back when Dustin was rising up the ranks. So he would have made it if Ric Flair would have stayed in WWE. I think Dustin would have been, he would have been probably around where Booker T was when they bought. But he would eventually go to WWE later on and become Goldust. So whatever. But I wouldn't bring Goldust to WCW. I would bring Dustin Rhodes. I would be like, okay, I don't want Goldust. I want Dustin Rhodes. So basically, I would pick the people that they're not using because I could do stuff with them. To be plainly honest, I would take guys. Who else would I grab? So I grabbed, it was like R-Truth, Goldust, Dustin Rhodes, Bo Dallas, Curtis Axel. That's 4 from Raw. That's mid card. And like I said, those are people that they're not even doing anything with, so they'd be like, okay, whatever, you can have them. SmackDown, what are people they don't use on there? Mojo Rawley, Zack Ryder, I would take them. That'd clear them of the roster. Who else is there on? I take Dolph Ziggler. Because, really, they're not doing anything with him. He did everything he could do. Bring him to WCW. He'd do amazing. I'd mold my magic with him. Who else would I pick from SmackDown that really is not doing it? Rusev. I would take Rusev. After they build Jinder Mahal up, I'd take Jinder Mahal. Clear him from the roster, and then you have a whole freaking slew of talent to deal with. I'll be taking a bunch of heels, but honestly, you still have a Randy Orton that could turn heel. You still have Kevin Owens. You still have Sami Zayn that's currently has just now turned a heel. Um, Baron Corbin, AJ, who he could flip flop. Um, who else? Like I said, Jinder Mahal. Well, I mean, there'd be other people coming up for the main roster too, though. Adam Cole probably going to SmackDown. I'm assuming Red Dragon will probably, whatever they're going to call themselves. Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish. I'm hoping they go to SmackDown. So that would leave them over there to kind of fill in the blanks, whatever they needed. But yeah, that's pretty much NXT talent for the main roster in the world title divisions. Honestly, I'd take Almas. I would take Almas to WCW. I'd make him a huge star. It would be kind of an eclectic thing for the new WCW if I took these guys in, because they're talking about making Bo Dallas a contender for the World Championship, Curtis Axel a contender for the World Championships, Rusev, Jinder, Dustin Rhodes, R-Truth, which I would try to probably just call him Ron Killings. Or what was his... I don't even know what his real name is. I don't know what R-Truth's real name is. Whatever his real name is, I'd probably just like have him use his real name. And get over that, or find some kind of normal name that he can use just to be a normal guy. Because R-Truth is kind of stupid, and he has his gimmick now, but I think he needs to go through a dramatic change right now. They just brought him back. I put them in WCW. Rowan and Harper, Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, because they're going to end up nowhere. They're going to end up. I guess they started some gimmick. I still have SmackDown recording. I may watch it. I may not. But they just started some stupid gimmick. They're going to come in for like a month or so, and they're going to be gone again. So I would bring them to WCW. They would be severely, like, Rowan may not. Eric Rowan would probably just be kind of like a Nikita Koloff and stuff like that. Like, he would probably be in the picture of the main event scene, somewhat diving in there. It could be an opponent. But Luke Harper, man, he could go far, man. He could be a guy like Cactus Jack, where he's not as crazy as Cactus, but he can do dives and stuff like that. He's pretty cool. But as far as NXT goes, like I said, Almas, I'd bring him up if he wasn't up yet. No Way Jose, he's more of a Raw guy, to be honest. I think No Way Jose is going to be a Raw guy. Or he could be a babyface from, SmackDown's got too many baby faces right now. So he couldn't go to SmackDown. He may be a WCW guy, who knows? If I would bring him in. But yeah, that's basically about it. 205 Live, I wouldn't touch any cruiserweights. Honestly, I think the cruiserweights need to get more cruiserweights into the cruiserweight thing, and that could be another brand as well for Vince to kind of focus on. But yeah, that's what I would do as WCW. And I mean, the first person, if I had to choose all that talent that I just named, that would be a good starting point. I think all the extras is take all the extras, the people that don't get on TV very much, or they seem like they have to put them on TV every once in a while. I really don't want to put them on TV. Like, those would be all the people I'd be like, okay, give me all the extras, and I'll take them on, and I'll put them on my programming. I think, a guy like Sin Cara, like, okay, give him to me. I'll use him. But Sin Cara just needs to go to 205 Live as well. He's not already released. But yeah, even a guy like Neville, man, give me Neville. I'll use him. He could be a guy like, kind of like Eddie Guerrero was in WCW, but I could use him against guys like Noah Jose and things like that. He could be a world champ in WCW, really. I mean, if he could change his style a little bit, but I think he could get over. WCW would be amazing. I think it doesn't matter what the brand is called. You could call it Chaos for all it matters, or I'm trying to think of like cool names. Like, what would, if WWE were to come up with a new brand, what would they call it? And I think they would be dumb to try and bring back WCW, because it was stupid to bring back ECW, which I heard they're talking about again. I heard there's been rumors that they're talking about ECW again for the network. And I mean, honestly, if they were going to bring back ECW, I would put Paul Heyman in charge and let him kind of mold his ECW the way he wants to, and let him start his own promotion. At the behest of Vince McMahon and Triple H, because I think that'd be awesome. I think given Reigns, not Roman Reigns, given the reins to take care of the promotion, I think he could do a good job. And given the money, able to run the show. If they, if they put it on with 205 Live, I think that'd be the best combination. If you had ECW filmed, and then before that, you had 205 Live come on, and then the ECW product come on. That'd be good. and then you got you had NXT taping, stuff like that. I think it would be more. I think it would be interesting to have ECW have their own arena and 205 Live have their own arena, so people could get accustomed to these brands and get them kind of established and such like that. And if they were going to do WCW, I would almost say do the same thing. One, it'll save on money because they just buy a venue somewhere and put it up, and people would come to it. If they put it in a hot spot that people would come to, that would be pretty interesting. One thing is the Midwest is pretty hot with pro wrestling. They like pro wrestling. Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee. We're very hot for pro wrestling. Like the Midwest is very, very big in pro wrestling. I did not even think we had that many promotions around me, but there was literally 4 that I know of. And that's recently. I only thought like 2 or 3, but I know there's like 4 or 5 promotions around me. And they kind of cycle through some of the same wrestlers, and a lot of the same wrestlers wrestle in all the different shows. But that's kind of a cool thing about the independent scene is that basically you're booked. You kind of book your own things. I don't think a lot of people probably have their own agents because they're just not that big. They're not that big, but they probably got phone numbers of wrestlers, and the promotions just call them up and go, "Hey, I want you to wrestle this guy tonight," and that's probably how it works. So it's kind of interesting to see if Vince will kind of, and Triple H. I think Triple H more has a mindset that he thinks we kind of got to bring back the territories somewhat in our kind of way. And I think in order to do that, you kind of got to build up all these smaller companies that are out there. And I think going after the ICW and promotions like that. What was the other one? ICW, and there's a couple others they worked with in England. But working with those promotions, that's pretty interesting. So bringing back WCW, I think it wouldn't be a bad thing. I think some people would think, "Oh, that's stupid. What's the point?" Because it's not going to be the same WCW, whatever. But if they gave somebody like maybe Dustin Rhodes is the one who runs it, and they get a hold of Cody Rhodes and they bring him back, they put Cody Rhodes at the top of the heap where they're booking him as really, really strong because he just came off of being Ring of Honor champion, and he did that, and maybe he wrestles in New Japan a couple more times, and he gets kind of where he's really established internationally. And then you bring him back, and that's when he debuts in the new WCW the very first night, and he wins the World Championship. I mean, I think that would be a strong start to rebuilding the WCW franchise, is if you have him go in there and maybe have him wrestle against Jinder Mahal with the Singh brothers by his side. I think the thing about Jinder Mahal is, and I'm not going to disrespect him, and I think a lot of people just don't understand, a lot of people are stuck on the fact that they want Ring of Honor to be inside the WWE, and it's not going to happen. That's never going to happen, so people need to get that out of their damn heads that that's ever going to happen. But I think that there's a good mesh between both the two, and I think the big mesh is what they're doing right now. And if people can't see that and they're still complaining, then stop watching the WWE and watch Ring of Honor. Stop trying to be watching Ring of Honor in WWE, because that's never going to happen. Never. Even when Triple H takes over. You see what NXT looks like now. That's pretty much what the WWE is going to look like in the future. Because there's always going to be guys out there that Vince is going to go, "Oh, this guy's awesome. He wrestled 5 years ago. He could hang with these people." And there's always going to be some people that should not belong in the WWE at the current time. But Jinder Mahal came back. He showed everybody. Drew McIntyre came back. He showed everybody. He went out and rebranded himself. So that's kind of cool. And I kind of think that there's a couple wrestlers right now that they just need to let go, let them go out, rebrand themselves, and come back. Because I think they need to go. One of them is Jack Swagger. It's kind of good. He's going out there. I don't know if he's going to make it back, to be quite honest, because I've seen one of his matches, the WCBW one, and it was, I don't know. But maybe he'll end up coming back at some point if they figure out something for him to do. Maybe they'll give him a call. Really surprising to see Shelton Benjamin back as well. But I don't think Shelton Benjamin was a case of, I don't know why they even let him go, to be quite honest. I think it might have been he was having a lot of injuries, but still, that's not a good reason to let him go. When wrestlers are that talented, it's like saying The Rock, like if he got injured 2 or 3 times in the Attitude Era, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have to let The Rock go." You really think that would happen? No, that ain't happening. So with Shelton Benjamin to be injured in 2000s and them just let him go, it's just kind of odd that they just, I don't know what happened there. MVP is the same way. I don't know why that they didn't talk him up and put him over more than what they did, because they pushed him and had him look very, very strong when he was in the company. And MVP is probably one of those guys that if I ran WCW, I would have him come in, maybe be the commissioner and pay him, a good amount of money, come in and wrestle every once in a while. Kind of be like, I think Ric Flair. I think Ric Flair did that in WCW for a little bit, or Roddy Piper. Somebody did that. I mean, I'm thinking about WWE when somebody was on there and they'd wrestle every once in a while as commissioner. But that's what I would do. Have MVP come back, kind of do what he did in Impact a little bit. And they went, yeah, I didn't even talk about Impact. People signing people from Impact, because there's a lot of those guys that would fit right into a new WCW. But booking WCW, that's basically what this video is about. Give your ideas down below. Who would you put in WCW? I don't think I would pick any of the major stars, because if I had to pick one, if they said, okay, you can have one major star, and there's a few exceptions, and you know who they are, you can't have them. Cena, Reigns, Strowman, the people that are extremely hot right now. You can't put them in your promotion. But if they said you can pick one person to put in your promotion, I think I would have to go with Bray Wyatt, to be quite honest. But I think I would bring him in a little bit differently. I think I would have him say, okay, forget all your powers. I think his new gimmick, I would bring him in WWE, it would be that I would still, I could still use it because WWE. So he would come in WWE as Bray Wyatt. And I think I would call him the man that you fear. I am the man that you fear, and I am going to destroy every man in this tournament tonight to become the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. That's what I would have him do. Come up with a promo like that, and then have him be in the main event with Cody Rhodes debuting, coming back to WWE, and have Cody Rhodes beat Bray Wyatt in the finals of the World Tournament, and I would start a feud between them. And result in Bray Wyatt defeating Cody Rhodes 2 pay-per-views down the road. I would have no problem swapping the titles. But anyway, Bray Wyatt would be the one guy I pick, because they keep screwing him over and he deserves better. I'd put Bray Wyatt on WCW, and I would build the whole entire company around him and Cody Rhodes. And, Dustin Rhodes would be more... I think Dustin Rhodes probably... I would bring him in, but I think he would be the kind of one to get the ball rolling, and I would have him wrestle a little bit. But I think at a certain point, I would be like, okay, Dustin, you're going to help me book. You're going to help me talk to the guys and, get them, under my wing. And I would put, R-Truth out there and stuff like that. And tag teams, he would kind of help the tag teams. He would be there kind of to make sure it kind of doesn't lose its WCW feel. Because I think that's what I would want from, I just want a plain background, a black ring, yellow ropes. Make it look like WCW. Or wait, what was it? Like a blue, white. See, it's kind of weird, because if you think about it, they both kind of look the same in the 90s. WCW ring was kind of, I guess I'd go with like a dark blue. And it would be like black ropes. And then maybe the ring would be like a stained yellow, maybe. It would be kind of like that. So it would kind of resemble NXT and kind of resemble SmackDown, but it kind of be like merged together, and it would be WCW. That's what I would do. And WCW logo would be, the classic WCW logo. We would use that for the show, and I would, we would do, I think it would be good just to have it on Saturday, but it would kind of interfere with Takeover when it happened. But hell, I would still do it. Just on those nights, maybe it would be, it would probably be taped anyway. The WCW stuff would be taped. Or maybe it would just go on before Takeover. I don't know how you would do that. How would you, if it couldn't be on Saturday then? Or maybe it would be, I don't know. Because say Monday is Raw. There's so much wrestling going on. Oh my God. Okay, so one minute video here. And hope you guys enjoy all the content that's going to be coming. Since now I can record on my phone, I'll try and do a video of wrestling and another video to put up on my regular channel from now on. So if you guys enjoyed it, if you like my wrestling stuff and you like to hear other stuff, my random personal stuff and music and movies, definitely go over to check out my Brad Chudzik channel. And that's pretty awesome stuff. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the channel, there's bugs flying around my house. I gotta go stab them in the face. Have fun. Guys, keep rocking and keep on watching wrestling. Later.